Our main character hit the ground hard. When he opened his eyes, everything looked totally unfamiliar. He looked around, confused, and muttered, Where am I? He pushed himself up and stumbled over to a mirror, but the face staring back wasn't his. Who is this? He asked. Panic kicked in. He grabbed his head as flashes of his past life hit him. He remembered dying. He was Lu Ming, a programmer who worked crazy hours. His boss was a clueless product manager who only reacted when things were already falling apart. He remembered one day the guy said, I want our app to change color with the user's mood. Red for happy, blue for sad, purple for excited. If there had been a knife on the desk right then, Lu Ming let out a sigh. He remembered working late, his head pounding, and then snap. It felt like something broke inside him. His last thought was, haha, wonder if my manager will freak out when he finds me cold tomorrow morning. And now, somehow, he was alive again, but in a different body. Same name though, still Lu Ming. He held his head, trying to make sense of it all. Then he grinned. New body, new life. Let's go. Suddenly, a jolt hit him. His eyes went wide. Memories started flooding in, like watching someone else's life on fast forward. This Lu Ming was 16. He went to vocational school. His family had money, healthy parents, an older sister. Honestly, not a bad setup. But wait, why vocational school if he had all that? Then something caught his attention. A girl popped into his memory. She had legs for days and a killer figure. And that was his sister. Lu Ming's face turned red. It felt weird. The emotions weren't just love. They were mixed with insecurity and something deeper. She was a flight attendant. Trying to shake off the weird vibes, he walked over to the bed and pulled back the blanket. His face dropped. What the? He muttered. The bed was covered in magazines. Yeah, those kinds. He stood there, stunned. Then suddenly, he laughed. Makes sense, he said. With a sister that hot, any teen would be messed up. But then his eyes drifted to the trash bin, stuffed full of crumpled tissues. His smile faded. Gross. Turns out, even the younger Lu Ming knew he was on a weird path. That's why he left his hometown and came to this new city to start over and become someone better. Someone who could support his sister. That's why he chose to become a card artisan. But then he paused. Wait, what even is a card artisan? Right then, a glowing card appeared in front of him. He stared at it and said, Holy crap, I actually transmigrated to another world. In this world, there was a ton of spiritual energy, and that gave rise to thousands of different cultivation jobs. Some people loved sword fights and intense battles. Others were into spooky stuff like spirits and magic. Some chased after ancient spells and knowledge. But card artisans, they were more of a support role. Basically, they could seal abilities, images, illusions, pretty much anything into blank cards. If they were strong enough, they could even trap whole worlds inside. Okay, that actually sounds kind of sick, Lu Ming said, holding a card in his hand. It was called the Origin card, the base of everything a card artisan could do. You could seal anything weaker than the card's energy into it and then transfer it to other cards. Kind of like burning a CD. All just technical stuff, Lu Ming thought. Apparently, the younger Lu Ming only had basic level card artisan skills, like level 1. It was kind of like his dad's job. Still, having those basics was a good start. He grinned. Not bad. This could be my starter pack for world domination. Soon after he moved to the city, his older sister came to visit. Younger Lu Ming freaked out. To protect his pride, he signed a high-interest loan, opened a card shop, and became a mini business owner. Reading that memory, Lu Ming shot up. A high-interest loan? He said, panicking. He searched the bed like crazy. Where's my phone? He finally found it, unlocked it, and checked the loan. When he saw the number, he froze. It had 12 freaking digits. He dropped back onto the bed in shock. Dude, this kid took out this much just to open a shop? Then something hit him. Wait, if there was a loan, there had to be collateral. His mind pulled him back into more memories. His face turned pale. There were pictures, weird ones, and they were all of him, dressed up like a girl. He covered his face. What even is this? Are people here okay? He dropped to the floor frustrated. So not only was he stuck with a huge debt, but if he didn't pay it back, those photos would get leaked to his parents, relatives, everyone. His whole rep would be ruined. People would think he was into creepy cosplay stuff, or worse. Get away from me. Just disappear, he thought, as anger exploded in his head. He wasn't like this before. He was just a regular programmer who suddenly died, and now this new life was even worse. He snapped. He kicked the wardrobe hard. Instant regret. His foot hit something solid and the pain shot up his leg. Ow! He cried out, grabbing his foot. Then he noticed light coming from the wardrobe. Still in pain, he opened the door, and inside were tons of cards, all neatly lined up in a glowing display case. Lu Ming looked around. He was standing inside a small shop, the one this kid had basically bet his life on. He stepped out of the wardrobe, walked to another door, and opened it. Outside, the city was alive. People everywhere, tall buildings, crowds moving non-stop. Then came the noise. Join now, get 40% off. Buy one, get 3 free. Big discounts, half off everything. No haggling needed, cheapest cards in town. The streets were full of card shops, all yelling deals. It was loud, chaotic, and competitive. Lu Ming just stood there, frozen. He looked around and realized they were everywhere. Card shops left and right, packed with customers. Some even had lines out the door. He covered his face. Good God, he muttered. No wonder the kid had to sell cheap one-star energy cards just to scrape by. In a place like this, it was a miracle the shop hadn't already shut down. Then a couple walked up. The girl asked, "Hey, do you guys do illusion card upgrades here?" The guy laughed and said, "Let's bounce. This shop looks too basic for that." The girl nodded. Yeah, true. They walked off joking about how tired they were and just wanted to sleep. Lu Ming watched them leave, completely annoyed. Then out of nowhere, he blurted, "Illusion card." Right then his phone buzzed. He checked the message and froze. "What the?" he said, reading it. A 3D image popped up. A guy with a rough face yelled, "You've got 15 days left. Pay up or else." It was a deck collector. The message also included a blueprint for a one-star energy card. "All you gotta do is follow the lines and make the card," the voice said. Lu Ming remembered the younger Lu Ming's childhood memories, how to make cards. He hadn't tried it yet, but figured, why not? So he grabbed a blank card, focused his energy, and let it flow through a pen. A black pattern appeared on the card. It was just basic math stuff. Adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. For Lu Ming, a programmer in his past life, it was super easy. It felt like coding. He finished the last stroke and looked at the card. He had just created a one-star energy card, but before he could get hyped, his mood dropped. This won't cut it, he thought. Even if he worked 20 hours a day, he'd only make like 100 yuan. He had 15 days left. Do I have to sell myself for something? He thought, totally crushed. His eyes watered. It was hopeless. Then someone called out to him. A chubby dude walked over, grinning. He said, "Yo, how's business?" "Man, it's hot. Why don't you ever turn on the AC?" His name was Yang Xiaobao, an illusionist and apparently ranked dead last in their department at the vocational school. Lu Ming looked at the guy in front of him. He said, "Illusionist." The eyes light up. "Perfect. I was just thinking about you. Total lifesaver." Xiaobao looked confused. "Dude, are you that broke again?" "I'm not covering your debt." Lu Ming shook his head. "No, nothing like that. I just need you to make me an illusion card." Xiaobao laughed. "Say less. I got you." He even offered a tiny 1% discount. "But man, you're treating this like a business deal. What kind of illusion do you want? Dominatrix? Queen? Maybe S&M? No, what the heck, no." Lu Ming snapped. "Not that kind of card. I need fruit." Xiaobao blinked. "Fruit? You want fruit illusions? They got to appear one at a time, right? Not all at once? Slow at first, then speed up?" "Exactly," Lu Ming replied. "Just trust me." Xiaobao looked confused but said, "Yeah, it's easy." He summoned something that looked like a Rubik's Cube and showed it to Lu Ming. "Like this?" Lu Ming nodded. "Cool. Now compress it." Xiaobao hesitated. "You're sure about this?" "Dude, it's not a fireball. Even if it messes up, it's not gonna blow up." "I'm not worried about explosions," Xiaobao said. "I'm worried you'll mess it up and waste my energy." Lu Ming rolled his eyes. "If it fails, I'm not paying." Right then, Xiaobao's whole vibe changed. "Why didn't you say that earlier?" he shouted and tossed him the cube. Lu Ming caught it and pressed his card to it. It took effort. He was breathing hard. "All right," he said. "Now we analyze the pattern, make the mold, and start producing. If I can bounce back in 15 days, it's gonna be because of this." He looked at the card. "This is the first card I've ever made. I'm calling it Watermelon Illusion." Xiaobao raised an eyebrow. "Watermelon? Bro, that's so useless. It's worse than my yellow cards. Who's gonna buy this?" "Relax," Lu Ming said. "I already sent you the money." Xiaobao grumbled. "You didn't even take me out for lunch." "I've got expired noodles. Want some?" "Man, I should have never given you that discount," Xiaobao muttered as he left. At the door, he looked back. "I don't know what you're cooking up, but I'm kind of curious now." 10 days later, a guy with pink hair showed up near a huge crowd. He asked, "Why are so many people gathering?" His girlfriend replied, "Maybe another death match? Want to check it out?" They held hands and walked toward the noise. The guy was only 3 feet tall. His girlfriend was double his height and width. Yeah, this world was wild. Up ahead, Lu Ming was yelling to the crowd, "Don't miss out. Just 100 coins. No scams, no tricks. You could boost your strength instantly." He waved the card in the air. "This is a secret training tool from a hidden master. Use it to level up your reaction reaction speed, boost endurance, and sharpen your focus. Stay in the challenge for 100 seconds and win 10,000 coins. The ad was so tempting, people started crowding around. Is it really a reaction speed training card? 10,000 coins if you last long enough? A deep voice shouted from the back, "I'll buy one and give it a shot." A big guy stepped forward from the crowd. Looming saw the guy and hyped him up like crazy. "Man of action, true gentleman, come in, try this out." The guy looked confused, but said, me? I mean, sure. But before anything else, someone shouted loud from the corner. Looming looked over and froze. A super tall dude with pink hair was storming over, looking seriously annoyed. Looming laughed awkwardly, trying to play it off. "Haha, just a mix up. Come in, bro. Try the experience." The pink-haired guy said, "First off, I got money. I don't care about your little 10K, but if you're running a scam, I'm reporting you." Looming smiled and winked. "Nah, bro, we're chill. No scams here. You'll love it." Then he hit the start button. Illusion X4 starting. Scanning. Fruit Ninja, countdown, 4, 3, 2, 1. The pink-haired guy stood there like, what is this weird feeling? He looked around confused. There's barely anything here. Everything's pixelated. This is like a toddler's toy, not even noob level. He got mad and walked up. What kind of garbage illusion is this? My eyes hurt. He was ready to report the shop when, bam, a watermelon dropped from the sky. Then a whole rainstorm of them smashed all over the street. The street went nuts. People screamed and ran straight into Looming's shop. Is this the place? Looks small, but yeah. OMG, this is the card from the news. No idea what it is, but I'm trying to try it. People pushed their way in. Let us in. Yo, who just touched me? Looming was loving it. His card blew up. Let me go first. I'll pay double. 10 times the price. Just let me in. He looked around grinning. I'm making bank. The line was wild. People wrapped around the shop just to get a turn. Meanwhile, at the city's biggest card store, workers were gossiping. Watermelon Ninja? That's a thing now? For real, said another. Once it starts, watermelons just drop non-stop. It gets faster and harder. You get hit 3 times, game over. Current record, 34 seconds. So this skinny dude goes, this Looming guy, total newbie, made like 10,000 silver tails in just a few hours with one single card. That number shocked Kensang Chai so much, he almost dropped his tea. He's thinking, dang, it's such a simple illusion, but super smart. It hits people's need to compete, show off, and spend money. And the crazy part, it's just an experience, not even a product for sale, but it's already making bank. Straight up genius. Since when did Qingming City have talent like this? The other 2 employees nod. One says, yeah, never seen a basic illusion card go viral like this. Then he adds, this isn't just a big break, this could be huge. If it's popping off in Qingming City, imagine what it could do nationwide. Chen Sang-chai grins and tells his guys to get the carriage ready. He needs that card. But he's not the only one watching. Some other guy lurking in the background goes, old Kion's moving fast. Normally big chain shops like his don't care about small time shops like this. Then he turns to his assistant and asks, you sure the shop owner's name is Lu Ming and he's a primary card creator? This says, yeah, 100%. The guy nods and says, cool. Then find out who Lu Ming has been talking to lately, his background, and exactly how that card works. That man is Zhang Chun, the boss of Pure Goods, a new card company that's gaining power in Qingming City. Meanwhile, back at Lu Ming's shop, it's already night, but there's still a long line of people waiting. Lu Ming comes out and says, sorry, we're all out for today. Come back tomorrow. People groan. No way, it was my turn. I've been waiting for hours. Eventually the crowd starts heading out, but one guy yells, don't forget, my squad's coming back tomorrow. Better stock up. Lu Ming just laughs and says, got it. See you then. As the crowd walks away, they're all hyped. The Watermelon Ninja card is gonna blow up tomorrow. Lu Ming, buzzing from the day, starts cleaning up the shop. Just as he's about to close, someone walks in and shouts, yo, anyone here? Lu Ming turns around like, sorry, we're sold out, come back. But then boom, a giant tiger appears right in front of him. He falls flat on the floor, totally freaked out. Hello, sir, he stutters, almost crying. The man behind the tiger says, Venkai, chill. The tiger backs off. Then the bald guy goes, I'm Kian Sengchai. I run the Yezi card shop chain here. Lu Ming's eyes go wide. Wait, the Yezi chain? The top card shops in Qingming City? He jumps up and shakes his hand. Wow, welcome, welcome. What an honor, sir. What brings you here? Kian smiled and said, the Watermelon Ninja hype brought me here. You've got real talent, Mr. Lu. But Lu Ming wasn't having it. Hey, why are you talking to me while staring at your dog? Kian said, that's a tiger. Lu said, same difference. Then Kian got serious. We're both in business, so let's be real. I'll give you 10,000 for the full rights to Watermelon Ninja. What do you think? He stood right in front of Lu Ming, waiting for a reply. Lu said, you're sharp, Mr. Kian. Kian replied, dreams are great, but reality hits harder. Your card's smart, but super simple. And since you're selling the experience, not just the card, that makes it easy to copy. Based on what I've seen, I could rebuild it in one day, maybe even in a few hours if I put money into it. It wouldn't cost more than 20,000. Then he added, and I'm not the only one thinking like this. Tomorrow, copies will be everywhere. Once that happens, your design's worth nothing. Looming turned pale. He sat down crushed. He thought this card would change his life. How would he ever pay off his debt now? Kian said, business is war. One day you're rich, the next you're broke. It's harsh, but kind of exciting too. Then he handed Looming a business card. Only winners get to enjoy this game. Call me if you decide to sell, but you've got 2 hours. After that, it's worthless. And with that, Kian left. Looming stared at the card, then ripped it up. Regret? Nah. This is all part of the plan. Just then, Little Fatty rushed in, banging on the door. Bro Lou, bad news. I saw Mr. Kian leaving your shop. Lou stayed chill. Yeah, he tried to buy the Watermelon Ninja design. You sold it? Nope, I didn't. Why are you here? Little Fatty said. Listen, this is bad. Zan Chun from Pure Goods came to see me. He offered 10,000 too. Lou said, wait, he came to you? Yeah, I've been in the game a while. Got some rep, but I'd never sell out a bro, even if I was broke. Bros before CEOs. Lou said, are you dumb? He wants to buy it. Sell it. Don't let 10,000 walk away. But it's your special recipe, Little Fatty said, confused. Just then, a voice from the door said, tomorrow, the market's gonna be full of copies. Lou replied, exactly. That's why I only made 300 cards over the past 10 days, to drop them all today. Lou hadn't expected Little Fatty to be so loyal. He told him, call Pure Goods right now. Sell the design. Make your money while it's still hot. Okay, I'll go now. Wait, then he stopped. Why didn't you sell it to that other guy yourself? Lou grinned. Some secrets are too good to spoil. By now, Watermelon Ninja was everywhere. Card creators were spinning out their own versions. And Lu Ming? He was blowing up online. People were like, 1v2? Crushed him. Dude's a machine. I want to duel with Lu Ming. I'll only fight Lu Ming. Even influencers were talking about him. He was all over the news too. Today we've got 2 master creators from Shahua Island. What do they think of Watermelon Ninja? One expert said, this is just luck. The design's nothing special. Lu Ming has no real skill. The other said, exactly, it's just timing, no real talent, but at least he knows how to go viral. Somewhere in a secret base, a team was analyzing Lu Ming. Watermelon Ninja is huge, but he's not a real illusionist. Just got lucky. Doesn't even understand card making on a deep level. They all agreed his fame came from how smart he was with business. Minimal energy, low tier card, simple illusion, but a huge impact. One guy in a mask and weird outfit listened quietly. He didn't say much, but the chaos around Lu Ming, yeah, now he was curious. The scene changed to a film set. The cameraman called action. On the other side, a pretty girl was getting ready to take off her jacket. The camera zoomed in, then out of nowhere, an ice cream cone showed up. Hot day, huh? Here, have some. He handed it to her. Cool, right? The director yelled, cut, perfect. Turns out Lu Ming was filming a commercial. Boss Lu's killing it. First time on set and he's better than those good-looking influencers. Lu Ming laughed and said, still learning from the pros. The director replied, you're too modest. Then the director asked, what about the payment? Don't worry, he said, the transfer's on the way. Lu's phone buzzed. Little Fatty looked at the screen and shouted, bro, 500,000 already. We're rich. He was hyped. Filming ads makes more money than selling cards. Forget the shop. I'm quitting magic. I'm your agent now. Lu Ming stood there smiling. New goal, make 100 million, throw it in the bank and live off the interest. Then he turned to Fatty and said, keep dreaming. This is just hype. Won't last long. To stay hot, we'd need something new every week. I don't have ideas right now, so let's just go back to selling cards. Fatty was kind of bummed. True, but hey, at least the debt's gone. And I made some cash riding your wave. Oh, 2 e-com platforms want you in promos tomorrow. How'd you even think of this video stuff? Lu Ming replied, takes brains, which you don't have. Fatty laughed. Fair, but it's late though. I'll call a ride and drop you off at the shop. Lu Ming said, nah, you go ahead. I want to explore a bit. Fatty looked confused. Didn't you just get here? Lu Ming laughed awkwardly. Slip of the tongue? Go on. I'll see you tomorrow. He waved goodbye. His debt was gone. He had money now. This world had new stuff, sure, but honestly, same game, same grind. He kicked his soda can down the street. Fame and fortune, winners and losers. Nothing new. His past life, gone. Now he was ready to see how far he could go in this one. Fast forward, 1 month later, later, a thug found a broken card piece in a pile of rubble. "Yo, this design's crazy. Might be worth something." Another guy said, "Let me see. Back off, get your own. There's gotta be more pieces in here." Around them, the place looked wrecked. Later, a fancy car stopped hard in front of Lu Ming's shop. Lu Ming got out and said, "Fatty, help me return this car before midnight or I get charged another day." Fatty laughed from the passenger seat. "Bro, weren't you going to buy it?" "Can't afford it now," Lu said. "No ad gigs in a week. Gotta save cash." "Cool, but stingy," Fatty joked. Then a rough-looking guy walked up to Lu Ming's shop. It was Mangosteen, a local thug who used to push Lu around. Lu stared him down. "This is downtown. You really want to mess with me? I'll call the cops." Mangosteen quickly said, "No trouble, promise." He pulled out 2 shiny card fragments. "Bet these'll interest you. Cards sometimes break during fights or failed tests, and when they do, their powers are gone, but researchers still study the patterns on them." Lu looked closer. These 2 pieces? Complex patterns. Definitely not regular cards. He asked, "Where'd you find them?" Mangosteen said, 2 days ago, near the border. Big battle. Lots of people didn't make it. I picked these up after." Lu kept examining. These were valuable. The thug leaned in. "Just name your price," he said. "I'll sell." Lu replied, "I need time to think. 2,000 max." Lu Ming said 150 credits per piece. "Deal?" Mangosteen instantly said, "Deal," but something felt off. Lu Ming took the fragments into his lab and checked them out. After a while, he slammed the table. "Seriously? Scam. These cards still have their original coding. I can't decode anything, no type, no level. Total junk." He sighed and looked at one of the fragments sitting on the edge of the table. "Whatever," he mumbled. He cut a blank card and stuck the piece on it, then slid it into the reader. No clue if this'll work, but worth a try. He hit the button and waited. Nothing happened. Then suddenly, someone breathed into his ear. Lu Ming jumped and spun around. His eyes went wide. A super hot woman was standing there, smiling. "What is going on?" he said. "Wait, this is an illusion, right? I've definitely seen this before." He sat there, kinda awkward. She just looked at him with soft eyes. She reached for his hand. Lu Ming's face turned red and his nose started bleeding. "It feels way too real. Wait, this must be a high-level illusion. If I had stuff like this in my past life, maybe I wouldn't have been single." "All right then," he said. "Do what you want." Then she pulled out a knife. Lu Ming didn't even notice. He was just laying there, totally lost in the moment. She raised the blade, ready to strike, but just before it hit, the machine glitched, and the illusion disappeared. "What the heck?" Lu Ming shouted. "It stopped at the worst moment." He groaned. "Oh, it only lasted 48 seconds. He looked at the card. "This isn't some battlefield scrap. It's straight up card trash." Then he remembered, wait, there's still that other piece. That triangle one looked way more complex. He got curious. This one's gotta be something special. Flashes of cute girls popped into his head. "All right," he said, "let's go again." He slotted the new fragment into a blank card and waited. Right away, something felt off. "Why is the energy so wild?" he asked. This isn't normal." His body twisted, he clutched his head, coughing. "What is this? I feel sick." He looked up and froze. Right in front of him was a giant monster. "Oh no," he said. "Where even am I? This isn't a card, is it?" The monster suddenly charged. "Big bro," Lu Ming yelled. "It's a misunderstanding, chill." But the monster didn't stop. It flew right past him, heading for something in the distance. Lu Ming turned around and saw it, a sleek black cat, calm, cold, powerful, totally majestic. It moved forward slowly, then jumped into the air. Before the monster could react, the cat landed right on its head. It opened its mouth, charging up some kind of dark energy. A ghostly glowing cat head formed in the air, then boom, one bite, the monster's head was gone. Lu Ming stared, speechless, then took a step back, totally shook. The black cat jumped down and landed right in front of Lu Ming. It stared at him with this wild, intense look like it was ready to attack. The cat slowly moved closer and reached out a paw like it was about to grab him. Lu Ming felt like something huge was crushing down on him. That tiny paw suddenly felt like a giant claw wrapping around his head. Lu Ming got it. If he moved even a little, he was done. The cute cat from before, gone. Now it looked like a total beast, eyes glowing, teeth out. He was shaking, but tried to stay cool. He reached out and tried to pet the cat like he was hoping he'd go back to being chill. He gave a tiny meow meow konnichiwa and smiled like a kid. He was basically begging,
I'm just passing through, bro. Total coincidence we met. Maybe we could even be friends. The cat just stared at him with its creepy golden black eyes and tiny pink nose. Lu Ming kept rambling, more friends, more chances, right? Then their eyes locked, and suddenly a crack opened in the space around them. It kept getting bigger. Time itself was getting eaten. Lu Ming laughed. Sorry, kitty. That whole act? Just stalling. As he drifted toward the rift, he threw up a peace sign. Truth is, I can't stand cats. Then he shouted, Sayonara, furball, and dove into the black void. The crack snapped shut behind him. He landed in a different world with a loud boom. People nearby thought it was either an earthquake or something spooky. Black smoke rose up from broken card pieces. Gasping, Lu Ming said, Man, that was way too close. He looked at the pieces and groaned, What kind of trash cards are these? He blamed someone called Mangosteen and swore they'd pay. Just then he heard footsteps. The black cat. It had followed him, and it looked way too real. Lu Ming freaked out. Hey, he yelled, How did you get here? But before he could react, the cat's tail shot into his mouth. He passed out. When he came to, he was in this weird dream-like space. It looked like a giant ocean with red skies. He felt energy all around him. It felt familiar, almost like it belonged to him. He realized he was in his sea of consciousness, the place where card masters store their origin cards. It's super important. If anything messes it up, the whole system could crash or worse. Lu Ming panicked. Where's my origin card? He shouted. This isn't right. Then he saw it. A giant glowing card appeared in front of him. The black cat was still there, ready to do something. It opened its mouth wide like it was about to bite. Lu Ming freaked out. That's my life you're messing with. Papa Bear, Papa Bear. But the black cat didn't care. It just bit into the glowing card floating in front of him, and boom, it shattered. Lu Ming turned pale, then got mad. You little mutt, he shouted. I'm not letting that slide. And he charged straight at the cat.
But then, out of nowhere, arrows rained down on him. He screamed. They hit hard. As he dropped, stunned, he saw the cat's tail stretch out and sharpen like a weapon. It pointed right at him. Lu Ming froze. The cat stared him down. Just when it felt like game over, the cat's tail slowly went back to normal. It flopped into the water in front of him. The cat now looked hurt. Its leg was bleeding. Must have happened in that earlier illusion fight. It looked bad. Lu Ming saw a chance. He smiled. Finally, he thought, reaching toward it. The cat didn't move, just watched. Lu Ming knelt, hand out. Hey, relax, he said. I'm not here to hurt you. I don't have much energy left, but I'll help how I can. He started healing the wound. Stay still. The cat kept staring. Lu Ming looked at the broken card, wondering if it could be fixed. If you need a place to chill, you can stay here. I'm cool with it. Just don't bite my card again. It's fragile. He pointed at the card. If I'm gone, you'll have to find another human. That's a whole headache. So not if you're cool with this. No answer? I'll take that as a yes. Then, boom, scene change. Mangosteen, the guy who sold Lu Ming the card pieces, was getting beat up. He flew back and hit the ground. Crying, he said, I told you everything. I don't remember who I sold that broken piece to. I've sold so many lately. He dropped to his knees, begging. In front of him was a tall figure in black robes. You couldn't see the face, just one glowing blue eye and two horns sticking out of the hood. Behind him stood a huge purple beast with no face, just a big mouth and a long tongue that looked like a hand. Mangosteen kept begging, but the foot came down anyway. The hooded figure held up a card with a cat image on it and said to the card standing near Lu Ming, It's too late. This one's got 0 life left. Then he asked, Where were you? Who took you? Next morning, new day, birds flying around. Lu Ming stepped outside, stretching. Then he noticed something. The card shop across the street had finally opened, and they were running promos. Everyone around was talking. How are other shops even going to compete with that? So apparently, the new card shop across the street got hit last night. People said all the guards were taken out. Wild, right? And get this, every single card in the shop was stolen. Even the rare ZA chain. That's like robbing a vault in day-bright light. Someone said the thieves were strong enough to summon the Kuronoma giant. Rescue teams were on site with dogs looking for bodies. One of them told the crowd, back up. These guys could punch through walls. Cops don't stand a chance. Turns out, Fatty Dong's shop got wrecked too. Even Old Black from the underworld wasn't spared. Lu Ming stood there, low-key freaking out. He'd slept in his own shop that night. What if they'd come for him? Then it hit him. His place was the only one untouched. Just then, Little Fatty walked in. Lu Ming asked, What are you doing here? Little Fatty grinned. Relax, I'm not here to borrow money. I got good news. He said the school had sent out internship notices and ran over to make sure Lu Ming got his. Always looking out for you, he said proudly. Lu Ming said thanks, but then immediately tossed the paper aside. Little Fatty looked confused. Nope, not doing that again. He'd done one of those internships before. It wasn't even an internship. It was basically the school selling students as cheap labor. Lu Ming still remembered digging up ore all day only to get told 5 extra credit points, Lu Ming. Total scam. Little Fatty grabbed the paper and said, "This one's at the Amira ore mine. Super famous. Enough energy stones there to fuel cultivators for a decade." But Lu Ming wasn't interested. He had other things to worry about. Then he asked, "Hey, you got any combat cards that use around 60 energy points?" He said he needed it because the area wasn't safe, low-tier cards were useless. He wanted to craft better ones to boost his stats. Little Fatty pulled a card out of his pocket and said, "You came to the right guy." It was a 1-star Savage Collision Bull card, strong attack, 60 energy points. Perfect match. He bought it for 998 yuan. Back home, he checked online and saw the card's real value was only 1,000 yuan. He'd saved just 50 bucks. Still, a win's a win. Kind of. He grumbled about getting scammed. Then he studied the card's design. It didn't use much energy, but to make it work, it needed 3,000 high-speed watermelon ninjas. Yep, that's the thing. They were a lot faster than normal cards. He crafted 9 of them in one session. That boosted his energy by 0.05%. Not bad, honestly. But then he realized this kind of training used too much energy and selling those cards wasn't easy, so it wasn't sustainable. Then he had an idea. He jumped up, grabbed the activation machine, and prepped to activate one of the energy cards. His plan? Seal it into a blank card. Sealing was tricky. It needed exactly 60 energy points, just what he had. You had to time it perfectly. Even a tiny mistake could mess up the whole thing. With high power cards, it could even be dangerous. He slid the card into the machine. Mastering sealing was the next step if he wanted to become a true card master. After loading the energy card, he hit the button. Boom. Savage Collision Bull activated. The countdown started. 3, 2, 1. He yelled, "Blank card deploy," but nothing happened. The bull appeared, charging straight at him, and he froze. "Oh my god, no way," he said. "Where's my blank card? Where's my blank card?" He started panicking. The bull was coming fast, his hands were shaking, his lips were tight. He thought it was over. Then out of nowhere, he clapped his hands. Poof, a puff of white smoke. When he opened them, the sealed energy card appeared, and the bull vanished. He'd actually sealed it, barely. He dropped to the floor, totally relieved, holding the card. But then he saw cracks on both ends. Only the bull's head was showing. What the heck? Did the cat chew on this? He flipped the card over and compared it to the blueprint. Same pattern, no issues. So what was going on? He jumped on his computer and searched up energy source cards. Turns out there's this thing called segmented packaging. Basically, if a card's power is too strong, top-level creators split it into parts, then merge it later. He realized he got lucky, so he tried again. He activated the card, bull charges at him again, and he quickly sealed it. Just barely made it. This time when he opened the card, it was perfect. The design was clean, the 2 bull cards had merged. He got so hyped, he called out to the cat like he was his homie. Somewhere far off, the cat sneezed. Then he figured out something wild. Segmented packaging is supposed to only work with one kind of energy, but his card could do similar types too. Suddenly, it split into 7 pieces. He didn't panic, just kept going. One by one, the 7 pieces revealed different sides of the bull. When he merged them, the full image finally came together. He was pumped, his first ever card as a future card master. But something was off. The card shimmered, then boom, the massive bull turned into a small baby cow. He stared at it completely confused. Did it mess up? But then he checked the stats. It needed 300 energy points to activate. He wasn't strong enough yet. Still, the card boosted his energy and speed by 100 times. That alone was crazy. He didn't even know the power of the ninja watermelon part yet, but since it needed that much energy, it had to be valuable. It was a 1-star card after all. Now all he had to do was get his energy up to 300. He smiled to himself and named the card Savage Collision Bull. Then, right in front of him, a massive ore mine popped up on the screen. Amira ore mine, south of Qingming City, 4,800 meters above sea level, over 300 mining zones. It was known as the Pride of Qingming. And yeah, this was just the beginning. The interns pulled up at the Resni Energy Ore Refinery, where they'd be doing their internship. Everyone started unloading their bags, and honestly, the fresh air made it feel more like a school trip than actual work. Some even brought snacks and game consoles like it was a vacation. Then Instructor Anne, the fiery redhead in charge, shouted, "Put away your snacks and game consoles, or don't blame me if I get strict." She was a 3-star elementalist, 25 years old, super tall at 5'9", and just like them, it was her first time here too. The interns were hyped to check out the place, especially the entertainment stuff, so they all went exploring. Lu Ming, who wasn't even planning to show up at first, ended up coming anyway. With him was a dude with orange-dyed hair and darker skin who was totally eyeing Instructor Anne like she was the main quest. Lu Ming saw that and decided to mess with him. He looked at the instructor, made a kissy face, and said, "I like you." The orange-haired guy flinched, and Lu Ming waved like it was nothing. But the guy did not take it well. He started giving off serious
serious, angry vibes, like he was ready to fight. Lu Ming felt a bit of pressure, so he reached into his pocket to pull out his cowhide card, ready for whatever. Then someone interrupted. A calm voice said, "What are you two still doing here?" Instructor Ann said to check in at the dorms. The guy who spoke had jet black hair and just walked off like it was nothing.
Lu Ming followed him down, gave him a quick thanks, and looked at another guy nearby, silver-haired, wearing blue, with a fancy green dragon-patterned bow strapped to his back. That was Xiao Yu, a 17-year-old archer from the Yu clan, also 5'9". Xiao Yu told Lu Ming not to mess with the orange-haired guy, who's named Chang Liang. Apparently, when he snaps, even Xiao Yu avoids him. Lu Ming noticed Xiao Yu's bow looked expensive, but only had one arrow. He asked about the guy's name, and they introduced themselves. Lu Ming was a second year, Xiao Yu was a first year. When Xiao Yu saw Lu Ming's metalsmith badge, they started chatting casually. Soon they reached the famous cultivation canteen, a place that used spirit herbs and monster meat to make meals that helped boost their power. Dorms were ranked too. The best ones could turn into full-on training rooms with crazy energy levels. Some interns were staring at the simulation machines, whispering about how they even had virtual girlfriends or whatever inside. Then the refinery staff showed up to explain how things worked. Basically, you could earn points by mining energy stones. Every 100 grams gave you 1 point, and you could trade points for food, dorm upgrades, or anything else. No point cap. The more you mined, the better stuff you got. The interns were pumped. It was like grind hard, win big. Lu Ming just smiled while everyone else looked super hyped. Xiao Yu noticed and asked, "You been here before?" Lu Ming smiled and said he visited once in his first year. Then he looked at Xiao Yu, who also seemed pretty calm. Xiao Yu admitted he was faking it. On the inside, he was super excited, but his grandpa taught him that even if a mountain collapsed in front of you, a real man stays chill. Lu Ming took note of that. Xiao Yu seemed like the type who mixed truth with bluffing, hard to read, and sharp too. Lu Ming decided to stay cautious around him. Lu Ming walked away and Xiao Yu just stared, a little confused. Lu Ming turned left, thinking, no way can Xiao Yu find out I'm planning to swipe some ore. That'd be real bad. The next day, Instructor Ann took all the interns to their first day at the mine. He shouted, "Splitting mountains and breaking rocks!" And the interns yelled it back like it was a hype squad moment. The trucks rolled into Mine Shaft 59. The place was split into outer and inner zones filled with glowing blue ores. The deeper you went, the closer you got to the untouched stuff. Everyone got to work. One dude with bright orange hair was killing it, loading his basket full and soaking up all the attention. Then they all looked at Lu Ming. His basket was empty and he was just sitting there eating instant noodles. The others started talking trash. Isn't he a second year? What a fail. Couldn't even pass and now he's stuck in a lame internship? They laughed, saying he brought noodles because he knew he wouldn't mind enough to buy real food. After flexing their own full baskets, they bounced, tossing one last joke. "You better sleep in the mine tonight, bro." Lu Ming didn't say a word, just kept eating his noodles. Then a girl walked up to him. She had bright green hair and a pretty chill vibe. Her basket was doing pretty well too. She saw Lu Ming's empty one and said, "Maybe you're not syncing your strength right with the energy stones. You gotta be calm or it just won't work." She told him to think about something chill and offered to trade 2 energy stones for some of his food. Lu Ming blinked, kinda surprised, but said thanks. After she left, he just stood there thinking how nice she was. Then he put down the energy stones, stretched a bit, and waited for everyone else to clear out. This was his moment. He grabbed the stones and started absorbing the energy. Turns out he didn't even need to dig. While absorbing, he also began crafting simple 1-star energy cards. One hand on the stone, one hand making the card. A month flew by. By then, he had a whole stack of 1-star energy cards ready, and once he had enough, he could finally level up and refill his own energy. Lu Ming kept grinding, using his energy to level up and make more advanced energy cards. He was locked in, absorbing ore and crafting non-stop. After a while, he let out a breath. "My energy has basically gone up by 30 points, he said, looking proud. But then he heard footsteps. They got louder and closer. A group of miners walked by. Lu Ming froze, thinking he was caught. But nobody looked at him. Nobody cared. At the end of the group, he spotted 2 people who stood out. One was a girl about his age, with reddish-pink hair and purple eyes. She wore a mask, hiding most of her face. Lu Ming stayed still. Weren't they supposed to be resting right now? Why were they still working? Those 2 didn't look like regular miners either. They moved different, especially the red-haired girl. He started wondering, were they ore thieves too?
But they hadn't noticed him. Probably wouldn't say anything. So Lu Ming dipped out, grabbed his backpack, and headed back to his hidden camp to rest up for the next day. The next morning, a bunch of interns started realizing something. The luxury rest areas were fake. Even the cheapest lunchbox was 5 points. They were already tired and mad, dragging themselves back to the mine. They did the math. At this rate, they'd have to grind for like 10 hours a day just to eat, never mind leveling up or accessing the good training rooms. Some of them started talking about filing complaints when they got back to school. While they were still venting, Instructor Ann showed up and waved them forward. She reminded them, "This internship is meant to show you real life." That fired up Chang Liang, the orange-haired guy, crushing on her. He stood up straight and shouted for everyone to hang in there. His hype worked for a second. The group felt a bit better and promised to work harder. They were going to mine double, maybe even triple what they did yesterday. But when they got to the site, they froze. It was empty. All the ore was gone. Meanwhile, Lu Ming had already cleared 2 mining zones and felt his energy jump by several dozen points. If he kept this up, he'd hit 300 energy before the internship ended. Then he could finally use his ID card, which would unlock the Crimson Panel. While thinking about all that, he suddenly stopped. In front of him was a dark cave entrance with a warning sign: Critical Work Zone, no entry. There was another sign too: Danger, risk of collapse. Lu Ming stared at it, thinking maybe there was better ore in there. Sure, it was risky, but probably just more unstable than the other areas. He paused, thinking it over. Then he made his choice. "I'll just take a quick look," and stepped into the darkness. Drip, drip, drip. Water dripped from the ceiling as Lu Ming crept through the cave. He stuck to the shadows, avoiding main paths just in case other miners were around. He went deeper and deeper. Still no ore in sight. He was just about to head back when something suddenly caught his eye, and it gave him chills. Lu Ming turned and saw this tiny, beat-up tent. He thought, wait, is someone else already here trying to mine early too? Then he spotted an empty soda can on the ground. Weird. He unzipped the tent, peeked inside, and boom! There was Chang Liang, the intern dude, cuddling a green-haired girl who was straight up snoring and drooling. She looked exactly like the girl who gave them those energy stones yesterday. Chang Liang woke up, squinted, and went, "Brother Lu!" Turns out he had a crush on this girl named Xingni. He knew the internship was rough, so he came early to comfort the girls, also to look good in front of her. And yeah, the girl in his arms, actually a doll he made to look just like her. Lu Ming teased him like, "Bro, do you use the doll?" Chang Liang freaked out, denied everything, and said he just really liked Xingni, but didn't have the guts to talk to her. So the doll helped him feel less lonely at night. He got all emotional, tearing up while explaining. Lu Ming patted him on the shoulder and was like, "Chill, I need help making a new card. You're doing the illusion scene with me." Then Lu Ming fake threatened him, "Or I'll tell Xingni about your little cuddle buddy." Chang Liang agreed real fast, begging him not to snitch. Lu Ming laughed and told him to lead the way to the mining area. Chang Liang brought him to this insane spot full of glowing energy ore. Lu Ming was shook. It was loaded, pure energy, like 10 times stronger than the stuff outside. He touched the ore and instantly felt the power. He was like, "Yep, this is it. I'm gonna eat, sleep, grind, and live right here. Nobody mess with me." But Chang Liang warned him, "Bro, this place is too close to the main mine. Workers are here all the clock. You gotta stay low." Lu Ming nodded, still busy collecting ore. Meanwhile, across the way, some workers were drilling, and the 2 people Lu Ming ran into before were overseeing everything. The girl had a blueprint and looked kinda stressed, while the big guy with her was using some fancy scanner. He suddenly yelled, "Everyone stop!" The workers paused. He said they'd reached the planned depth but found nothing. He looked at the girl and asked, "What now?" She told him, "Keep digging." He pushed back like, "We're already at the danger zone. Any deeper, this whole place could collapse. I'm not risking it." Another guy with a scanner backed him up.
Then the girl, Xingyi, stepped in and said, "If you dig deeper, we'll pay 5 times more." The guy running the rangefinder was totally shook when someone offered him 5 times the normal pay. It was already the 4th day of mining and the interns were done. They dropped their shovels, flopped to the ground, and groaned. One of them was like, "I'm so over this. I'd rather starve than dig up another piece of this stupid energy ore." Another one said, "This is literally the worst moment of my life. This place is cursed." They hadn't had a real meal in 3 days. Instructor On asked where Za Yi was. No one had seen him. Then someone mentioned Lu Ming, the second-year guy who always ate instant noodles. "Haven't seen him in days," they said. "He probably dipped." Instructor On felt guilty. He said, "This is on me. It's my first time running an intern group. I had no clue it'd be this rough." Meanwhile, somewhere else in the mine, Chong Lang and Za Yi were walking together. Chong Lang asked, "You think Lu Ming came this way?" Za Yi said, "Not sure." Chong Lang found that weird. "Not sure? We already checked the main areas. If he's still around, this is the only spot left." Then he added, "Don't lie. I don't want to stress Instructor On out even more." Somewhere deeper in the mine, Lu Ming was working on a card, counting out loud, 265, 266, all the way to 300. "Yes," he shouted. He had finally hit 300 points in energy cultivation. Cards were scattered everywhere. He grabbed one called Tyrant Fist. Time to test this out. Just as he was about to activate it, Chong Lang and Za Yi showed up behind him. Chong Lang pointed at him. "Caught you. You're stealing ore." Lu Ming looked nervous but tried to laugh it off. "What a coincidence. You guys lost too?" Chong Lang wasn't buying it. Cut it. You're a thief. He tried to quote some mining law, but totally blanked. He looked for Zayi for help. Zayi jumped in. According to Article 1356, energy ore belongs to the government. Taking any of it without permission is theft. Changlang nodded crazily. Lu Meng crossed his arms and said, "That's a wild accusation. You got proof?" Turns out Zayi wasn't messing around. He'd recorded everything on his phone. 4 cameras, all angles. Lu Meng's whole ore stealing process was caught on video. Lu Meng was annoyed. How did these two even find me again? Zayi explained, "I've been watching you since day one. You knew a lot about the internship, then suddenly vanished. That caught my attention." He continued, "While digging, I noticed the outer ore was mostly junk, like 10.5% waste, but deeper in, the waste was 50%. You were smart, only taking a little so no one noticed, but you didn't count on us digging that far. And then I found stuff that clearly belonged to you, like your instant noodles. That sealed it." And that's how Zayi figured out that the mystery second year stealing ore was Lu Meng. Lu Meng was low-key pissed and kind of embarrassed. He thought he was hidden well, but this guy still found him. What a pain. Even though Lu Meng had tons of powerful cards, his energy was almost gone. He only had 300 points left, just enough for one move. He held a card between his fingers. It was a total gamble, but doing nothing? Guaranteed fail. So he tightened his grip, ready to go for it. Then out of nowhere, Zayi smiled, held up his phone, and said he deleted all the evidence. Changlang was like, "What?" Lu Meng froze too, not sure what Zayi was doing. Changlang started questioning him, all worked up. Zayi just stayed chill. He said he was testing a hunch, and he was right. Lu Meng didn't say a word. Changlang, confused, said he was going to report it to Instructor On. But Zayi shot back, "Without proof, what's the point?" Changlang snapped, "I am the proof." Right then, the ground shook hard. Changlang freaked out. What's going on? Everyone looked around confused. Lu Meng threw on his backpack and shouted, "Run! This place isn't safe." A cave-in was starting. The others were still stunned when rocks started falling. They yelled, "Watch out!" and took off. Above ground, people felt the earthquake too. It was strong. Back in the mine, workers were panicking. "Call the mountain supervisors. The mine is collapsing," one yelled. A miner got crushed by a giant rock. Others were hit too. One guy ran to the foreman screaming, "They're all dead!" The foreman just stood there staring at something below. It was what they'd been looking for this whole time. 2 people buried underground. Then something wild happened. A huge stone door appeared. It had a strange looking lock on it. The 3 guys started running. "Get out! This place is going to collapse!" Changlang yelled. "I told you something weird was going on." As they ran, Changlang said, "This has to be connected to that ore thief." Lu Meng frowned. "What's that got to do with me? I haven't even touched anything." But Changlang didn't buy it. "Then you can explain that to Instructor On." "Once we're safe," Lu Meng yelled back. Lu Meng thought to himself, stealing ore is a big deal. Did Zayi actually delete that video? Dude's so unpredictable. He better not pull anything later. Just then, a notification popped up on a phone. Payment received. A shady miner looked at it and said, "All right, it's done. Now let's talk treasure." Hung Fa was shocked. "What?" The miner said, "Didn't you all say you were here for treasure? Now it's more than just some coins. 2 of our guys are gone." Hung Fa replied, "There's no treasure here. It's just junk inside." But the miner laughed. "The door's not even open. How would you know? And if you try to hide this, I'll make sure the whole world hears there's treasure down here. Bet a lot of people would want to know what's inside."
Hong Fa sighed and said, "Do whatever you want," then walked away. The miner just stood there, shocked. "Are you serious?" he yelled. The tall guy next to Hong Fa said, "Then let him talk," but the girl suddenly stopped, looked back and said, "Take them all out. Leave no one alive." The tall guy hesitated for a sec. "Isn't that a bit much?" he said, but then grinned. The miner tried to calm them down. "Hey, what are you two doing? There's a lot of us here." But before he could say more, the tall guy grabbed his head, crushed his phone, and lifted him off the ground. He barely let out an "ah" before his helmet shattered. "We can talk. Let me go," he begged. The other miners watched frozen. One of them yelled, "Foreman!" Then one of the girls' guys said, "Didn't you say there were a lot of you?" Hong Fa walked to a big stone door and touched it, but stopped. "There's a barrier," she said. Looked like this door wasn't opening easily. She frowned, thinking. Meanwhile, the tall guy straight up kicked a miner across the room. The poor guy slammed into the door and died instantly. Hong Fa just watched. The tall guy grabbed another miner by the hair and said, "You're all useless. No wonder you're stuck here digging." Then he dropped what looked like the guy's head. The rest of the miners totally panicked. The tall guy walked over to a corner and said, "Looks like we missed one." There was a chubby miner hiding and shaking. He whispered, "Did you eat yet?" The tall guy dragged him out and threw him to the ground. Then he said, "Get rid of the bodies, make it look like a cave-in. We don't need anyone asking questions, and bury this one too." The chubby guy freaked out. Wait, I'm an illusionist. I know about that barrier. I read it in an old book called The Mysteries of the Heavenly Gate. It's called, rat-tail juice? I know how to break it." Everyone paused. Hong Fa looked at him. The tall guy said, "Rat-tail juice?" The
chubby guy got up fast. Yeah, most barriers need puzzles or codes, right? But this one's weird. The guy who made it was totally eccentric. This one, it breaks itself. Hongfa said, oh really? Show me. Open it. And not only will I let you live, I'll even cut you in. You can take everything inside except one item. Or I'll pay you. Your call. The chubby miner was stunned. For real? The tall guy added, don't worry, she keeps her word. Okay, so you don't need tricks or spells, you hit it hard. Boom, it opened. The red-haired girl looked shocked. Go ahead, hit it, the tall guy said. She looked at him. Give it a shot, he said again, showing off his muscles. This is kind of my thing. Then he stepped up to the giant door and started punching again and again, but nothing happened. The barrier didn't even crack. He touched it and winced. Then he turned to the girl and said, yeah, nah, totally useless. This chubby guy's full of it. Started panicking. No, I'm not lying. Just hear me out. He started rambling. Big bro, yeah, you're strong, but a door like this, it needs teamwork, like a music band. It's all about rhythm. Then he grabs his belly, did a little dance, and started singing like this, like this. Yo, does your family sell wine or something? Because talking to you got me feeling tipsy. He kept talking. Some of my classmates are still down in the mine, but the bodyguard cut in. Mistress, this guy's clearly stalling. Let's just bury him. The girl thought to herself, Heavenly Gate Enigma? I've heard Master talk about that. Guess it really exists? Then she said, fine, I'll trust you. But if you try anything, you're dead first, and your friends are next. Deal. I swear, I'm not lying. She snorted. You better not be.
He let out a breath and thought, dang, I almost believe that lie myself. As long as I reach my classmates, I'm good. They may be weak, but Anne's no joke. She might look soft, but she's a level 3 elemental mage. Even if she can't win, she'll slow them down. That's my chance to call for help. If things go bad, they won't have time to kill me. I can escape. Then he ran upstairs, hyping himself up. Man, I'm smart. Just being around Lu Ming made me way sharper. While the red-haired girl and the tall guy were cleaning up the mess, Lu Ming, Xiao Yu, and Shang Liang were trying to escape. Shang Liang, running like crazy, shouted, Lu Ming! Lu Ming stopped, eyes wide. Xiao Yu was sweating, staring ahead. Shang Liang also froze. They both said, Where are we? What is this place? The exit was totally blocked. Another student saw them and yelled, Anne, Xiao Yu and Shang Liang are here too. Rocks were blocking the way out. No cell signal at all. Hin Yi, the girl with blue hair, checked her phone and said, still no bars. Can't reach anyone. Another student said, same here. No service. What do we do now? Anne stayed calm. Don't panic. Something this big, the people outside will notice. If they can't reach us, they'll send help. We're all safe and we've got enough supplies. We just need to wait it out. Xiao Yu told Shang Liang, both our families just want peace now. But Shang Liang, totally done with him, said, shut your mouth. Xiao Yu rolled his eyes and replied, fine, whatever. Lu Ming stood there thinking, well, maybe this mess actually worked in my favor. At least no one's turning me in, but something feels off, like I forgot something important. Then it hit him, his chubby buddy. Lu Ming looked around, scanning the crowd, but couldn't find him. Did he get stuck when the mine collapsed? But then he spotted Ha walking with two strangers. Relieved, Lu Ming called out, wow, speak of the devil, you popped up just like that. Looked up, kinda confused. Lu Ming? Lu Ming walked over and clapped his shoulder. You're still alive, huh? I thought you went full hero mode back there. Don't jinx it, man, said nervously. Lu Ming chuckled and leaned in. Okay, spill it. What's with all the dirt? Hong Fa scratched his head. It's complicated. Lu Ming glanced at the two strangers with him. Wait, I think I've seen those guys before. More classmates started gathering. Someone asked, yo, is it true? Did you really find a secret realm? Another said, dang, no wonder the mine went boom. That explains it. Everyone was throwing questions. Where is it? How'd you find it? Chill. Levy talk. Even Hin Yi, the girl with blue hair, joined in. What's a secret realm? Lu Ming thought for a second. He'd read about them before. Secret realms were like ancient places from another world, tombs or caves built by strong cultivators. Over time, with all the energy around them, they turned into these rare, supercharged zones for training and treasures. Most of them were full of traps and barriers, but the stuff inside, totally worth the risk. That's why people went crazy trying to find them. He was hyped, but he still needed those two strangers to cooperate since they were the ones handling the barriers. The others jumped in saying, "Count me in, let's do this." Finally relaxed a bit, but there was still one problem. The path was blocked. For now, they had to stall and keep those two mysterious people calm. Then Lu Ming randomly started sniffing the air, got nervous, eyes wide, sweating like crazy. The red-haired girl saw Lu Ming sniffing around and asked, "What are you doing?" Lu Ming replied, "Relax, I've got this. Ability, super smell." Stood there shaking, low-key freaking out. Lu Ming pretended to understand. "I smell perfume, sweet scented osmanthus wine or something. Real nice, but also something else."
Telling? He paused. "Wait, that's not perfume. That's blood." The red-haired girl flinched, eyes on Lu Ming. The smell of blood filled the air. Everyone froze, confused. "Wait, blood? I don't smell anything," someone said. "Does he have a dog's nose or what?" Another person added, "I heard the miners were all crushed together. Maybe that's why. But she doesn't even have a drop of blood on her," someone pointed out. Ba was panicking inside. "Lu Ming, bro, are you trying to get me in trouble?" The red-haired girl and her tall, quiet bodyguard quickly explained, "Yeah, everyone else got crushed, only we made it out alive." Lu Ming squinted, not fully buying it. "You're not hiding anything, right?" he asked, then half-jokingly added, "Come on, pretty girl, explain that blood smell." She tensed up. Lu Ming's eyes widened. She leaned in super close. He flinched. Then she said, I'm on my cycle. Sorry if I freaked anyone out." Everyone went quiet for a second. Then boom, chaos. People started sprinting toward the secret realm entrance. "Hurry! First come, first served!" And the elemental mage tried to stop them. "Guys, don't rush in. We don't know what's inside. Let's wait for the rescue team." But no one was listening. "If we wait, the higher-ups will take everything. I'm not missing this chance. Let's go!" Sha Yu turned to Lu Ming. "Dude, your nose is crazy. What kind of skill is that?" Lu Ming just laughed. "It's not real. I made it up. I just wanted to see how she'd react." Sha Yu looked impressed. "Smart. Did you find anything out?" Lu Ming replied, "Not sure yet, but something's off. I think they're hiding something." Sha Yu rubbed his chin and said, "My gut says we need to follow them now." Then he dashed off, leaving Lu Ming blinking like, "Wait, what?" Lu Ming snapped out of it and ran after him. They reached a giant doorway glowing with some kind of magical barrier. "Whoa, is this the secret realm? It's insane. I've never seen anything like this. What now? Let's open it." "Didn't someone say it's sealed? Then let's break it open." Suddenly, Haas stepped up and held out a hand. He said, "All right, everyone, focus on my hand movements." Then he started waving his arms around like a music conductor. "Follow my rhythm. When I say go, we attack." Everyone stared at him like, what is this guy doing? But then he started singing some weird offbeat version of Do Re Mi. "Attack! Let's open this door together. Treasures and powers are waiting for us." People actually got hyped. They started powering up their skills. In seconds, a flood of attacks hit the door. Light and energy flew everywhere. It looked like a crazy group dance. Then, without saying anything, the guy got up, he remembered Lu Ming, and straight up started crying with tears and snot all over his face. Everyone had thrown all their energy at the door trying to break it open, but it didn't work. They were totally wiped out. One person said, "I've got nothing left." Another yelled, "Same here." Someone shouted, "Everyone push together. Maybe it's already broken." But when the smoke cleared, the door looked exactly the same. Not even a scratch. Someone asked, "Wait, what? Why didn't it break? I used all my power." Another person said, "Was the timing off? Who didn't follow the beat?" Now they were mad. Who messed it up and wasted all our energy? Especially great fatties. I just froze. Then he stammered, Actually, it's kind of normal that the door didn't open." He dropped to his knees. Okay, I lied. I was just showing off. I don't know how to open it." Everyone stared at him like, "Seriously?" Then the crowd rushed him and started beating him up. The poor guy was screaming while they took out all their rage on him for wasting their leader's energy. Meanwhile, the red-haired girl's bodyguard crossed his arms and said, "Mistress, looks like this dude tricked us again. What now?" She replied, "I'll figure out how to open the door. As for the rest, do what you want with them. But don't touch Lu Ming. I want him alive. Bring him to my place when this is over." The bodyguard freaked out. "Wait, bring him home? You like him?" The girl snapped. "No, I want to chop off his arms and legs, take his eyes, shut him up for good, and plant him in a flower pot. Then I'll watch him rot." Meanwhile, Lu Ming was standing in front of another sealed door. Calmly checking it out, he touched it, felt the surface, and stared at the writing on it, thinking hard. Sha Yu asked, "You got any idea how to open it?" Lu Ming said, "Of course. This stuff's easy for me. Looks complicated to you, but to me, It's just basic math. Xiaoyu raised an eyebrow. Seriously? Luming reached for the door. Everything follows a pattern. If you get the pattern, you get the answer. I just need to let my energy flow through the barrier, track its path, and figure it out. Honestly, it's like reading data. And data, super easy for someone like me. And then, boom, Luming suddenly shouted, "Got it!" Xiaoyu turned around shocked, but Luming had vanished. He was just there a second ago. Where'd he go? Turns out, Luming had already stepped through the barrier. He started breathing heavy, then looked around confused. Where even am I? What is this place? All around him were tall stone walls, lined up like a giant maze. He kept walking and thinking, wait, is this barrier just a portal? Did I trip some kind of trap and get sent into the secret realm? Then it hit him. If that's true, I'm all alone in here. Luming's face lit up with a greedy grin. He said, all the treasure here is mine. I'm rich, I'm rich. He started jumping around singing, New Year's here, everyone's celebrating, bringing money home to mom, not stress, life's all good vibes. He kept walking, looking for treasure, turning every corner in this giant maze of walls. Then he spotted something. Whoa, 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 treasure chest, he shouted. He ran over, popped it open, super hyped, and immediately deflated. What the? Just a piece of paper? The paper said, congrats, lucky one. You've activated the limit door. This is an illusion maze. Find the exit and you can unlock the limit door and get the treasure. There are no supplies here. Good luck surviving. Luming blinked. What? This isn't a treasure realm. It's all fake. He stared at the note. Man, of course they had something like this set up. So the only way to get into the real place is to escape this maze. Then it hit him. Wait, this thing is infinite? His mood dropped hard. In his old world, infinite mazes were only in computer games, not in real life. But in this weird world, illusions could make that happen for real. He thought, okay, technically an infinite maze can be solved. You just keep expanding from one point and work your way outward. But if the exit's way too far or infinite distance away, then yeah, it's basically a death trap. He finally realized how bad things were and shouted, "Ah!" Then out of nowhere, he heard soft footsteps. A cat. It was the same black cat Luming had helped before, and it was back, holding something in its mouth. Luming asked, wait, you're all healed up? You actually look better than before. Then he noticed what the cat had. His eyes widened. Hold on, that's my source card. It dropped it and jumped away before disappearing again. Luming panicked and ran after it. Hey, kitty, what's that supposed to mean? You're leaving now, he yelled. After everything we went through? I can't believe you're doing me like this. At least leave my card. That's my life right there. But the cat just kept running. Meanwhile, back at the sealed door, the red-haired girl and Xiaoyu were still trying to figure things out. She thought, this barrier has a built-in mechanism. Definitely set up by whoever built this place. I don't want to mess with it without knowing more. Then she remembered, Luming vanished earlier. Did he trigger the mechanism somehow? She also figured out the idea of attacking it directly might actually work, but these apprentices just weren't strong enough to break it. Not even close. The person who made this barrier, totally next level. She hesitated for a second, then reached out her hand and the door actually opened. She and Xiaoyu both froze. On the other side, they saw Ha, still shaking with fear. Everyone, please, I was forced, he cried. The crowd stopped hitting him. Forced? By who? Someone asked. We used up all our energy because of you. I was about to spill everything, but then a shadow shot past. He looked up and saw the red-haired girl's bodyguard walking toward him. The guy's eyes were cold and the vibe was instantly deadly. Suddenly, a guy pointed at the door and shouted, everyone look. Everyone turned. The chubby miner just stood there with his mouth open wide. The door was actually opening. Gasps went through the whole crowd. People froze for a second, then bolted. Shouts and footsteps filled the air as everyone sprinted toward the door. It was chaos. First come, first served, and maybe finally worth all the stress. The red-haired girl didn't move. She frowned. Why did the door just open? Was it Luming? Meanwhile, Luming was baby-talking the black cat. You're such a good kitty. I thought you left me. The cat swatted at him. Luming laughed. Wait, how'd you know where the exit was? Have you been here before? Yo, let's team up. We'll split all the treasure. I'll buy you snacks, cat food, even catnip. The cat kept walking. Luming tried again. Okay, how about a girlfriend? The cat smacked him with his tail. Ow, Luming groaned. Back at the door, the students slowed down. They looked around carefully. Is this the secret realm? It's so dark. Someone added, there's nothing here, it's tiny. Another guy cursed. Man, all that hype for this? Then, click, one of the stone pillars opened. Huh? A student stared up. Inside were two glowing blue eyes. Then more eyes lit up all across the chamber. Everyone froze. The glow was so bright it hurt to look at. What are those? Why is it so blinding? As their eyes adjusted, they spotted a statue shaped like a foot. There was a plaque on it. It had a strange crescent moon pattern. They gathered around. It's a card. Wait, that doesn't look like a normal one. Yeah, the design's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. Could it be a legendary card? Legendary or not, it's worth bank. Let's grab it and split the money. Yeah, even split. We all went through this mess. But just as someone reached for the card, a hand slammed down on his head and shoved him straight into the floor. Ah, the student yelled. It was the red-haired girl's bodyguard. He pinned him down hard. He said calm and cold, sorry, but none of you can touch this. Everyone stared. Wait, That's that worker guy. The bodyguard stood tall and said, I'm Fu Hung Ming, level 3 energy warrior. This card belongs to me. If you want to stay alive, back off. The second he said level 3, the whole room went quiet. They all knew the gap between level 1 and level 3 was massive. He might as well be a beast among kids. No one moved. But then one guy suddenly yelled, what about 1-star unity? He stepped forward. Even 1-star fighters, when they come together, shine like a constellation, brightest in the night sky. His voice carried a spark of hope, or maybe just desperation. The student stepped forward and said, what about 1-star unity?
Fu Hung Ming just looked at him and said, The student froze like he was stuck in glue. He turned around and snapped at his group. Why are you all scared? There's way more of us. They shot back, dude, he's 2 levels above us. We can't beat him. Don't even try it. Remember what happened when we messed with that 2-star cultivator? This guy's a 3-star. The student pointed at Fu's backpack and yelled, who knows if he's even real? Why would a 3-star be working as a miner? Then a voice called out, they're not miners. They're here for the card. Everyone turned. It was Anne. The students ran over, yelling, Anne, it's him. He's a real 3-star elementalist. He hurt one of us and wants the rare card for himself. Anne raised her hand. Back up. I'll handle this. Fu sighed and rubbed his forehead. Should have been more careful. Didn't think another 3-star would show up. Anne walked up to him. I saw all those miners outside. They didn't die in accidents. Those were battle wounds. That's on you. She took off her glasses. This should have been handled by actual investigators, but you used force. You hurt my student. I'm not letting that slide. Fu said, I was being nice by letting you open the door. I just wanted to take the card and leave, but if you're gonna get in my way, he stomped hard and jumped into the air. Then I'll just end this. But Anne didn't flinch. She tilted her body and dodged mid-air. Fu tumbled and flipped, but landed on his feet. He said, not bad, really not bad, then got ready to fight again. Anne raised her hands. Energy started flowing. Wind surrounded her, and her whole body started glowing. She hovered in the air. She shouted, wind ring, burst! A huge blast of wind slammed into Fu. He gritted his teeth, trying to hold on, but the force knocked him flying. He hit the ground hard. The student stared, jaws dropped. Whoa, is that really the nice, quiet Anne? Someone whispered. She's not a demon, she's a goddess. Anne let out a breath, but then her eyes went wide. From the dust, a red light flashed. Fu stood back up, totally fine. He said, solid moves, strong even, but it won't work. There's a difference between 3-star and real 3-star. I'm not some academy-built fighter. I've been through real war. His body was glowing, totally covered in a layer of energy armor. Anne stared. No way. That's full body energy armor. Most warriors could only make partial shields, but this was something way more advanced. Only people who mastered their energy type could pull that off. It blocked everything unless you hit it with a crazy strong, focused attack. Anne's move was powerful, but too wide. It couldn't break through. She looked at her students. Sha Yu and a few others had focus skills, but they were just 1-stars. Way too weak. What now? How could she protect them? Before she could act, Fu charged. He grabbed her head and lifted her into the air. She screamed. Blood splattered, then more. Fu laughed. See? That's how fast things flip in a fight. Scared now? I'm going to tear you apart. The students froze, eyes wide. Even Chubby and Sha Yu looked terrified. Then a loud scream up through the air. Let Anne go. Even Fu Hung Ming paused, turning with an angry look. The voice kept going. When I first got here, everyone made fun of how I looked. I felt alone, worthless. But Anne, she patted my head and said, Changliang, don't listen to them. If you get strong enough, they'll stop laughing and start admiring you.
She always supported me, always pushed me to train harder, and now you dare hurt her right in front of me? He ripped off his wig and threw it on the ground. Fu sat on down and looked over. You 1-star kid, you serious right now? But Chung Liang was done talking. He dropped into a stance and yelled, you're done. Everyone panicked and backed up. It's over. Chung Liang's lost it. Don't look, Sha Yu shouted. Close your eyes. Chubby blinked. What's going on? Just close your eyes, Sha Yu yelled again. Chubby shrugged and covered his eyes. Then Chung Liang roared. His eyes and mouth lit up. Even Fu took a step back. Chung was totally out of control now. His family's light element power was kicking in. A special move he couldn't control. One time it even landed his teacher in the hospital. He shouted, get in my head. A huge blast of light exploded out of him, lighting up everything. Then it faded. Chung Liang gasped, then dropped to the ground. passed out cold. The students whispered, "Is it over? Should someone check if Fu's still standing?" Xiaoyu took off his glasses and stepped forward. "That move has a weakness. Just close your eyes and it can't hurt you. That's why I'm number 1 and Sheng is number 2. But he doesn't know that. My plan was to hit Fu the second he opened his eyes." Fu was holding his cheek. Blood was dripping from both eyes. Xiaoyu froze. "Wait, what?" Fu coughed and spat out blood. "What kind of move was that?" he said. "That light, it went straight through my energy armor, almost wrecked my insides." Xiaoyu didn't wait. He pulled out his bow and took aim. Fu's energy armor was down. Now was the perfect shot. Xiaoyu let the arrow fly. As it soared, Fu remembered something his grandpa once said. In battle, the most important thing isn't your enemy, it's yourself. Back then, Xiaoyu had asked what that even meant. His grandpa replied, "It's like a still lake, calm, clear. That's how your heart should be. Stay patient, then strike when it matters most, and win with one shot." "I didn't get it," Xiaoyu had said. His grandpa laughed. "You will someday." Now, Xiaoyu's arrow hit Fu right in the chest. Fu looked down at it and let out a laugh. Well, you kids actually landed a hit, I'll give you that. But this," he said, grabbing the arrow, "this is nothing. Doesn't even tickle." Right after Fu Hongming finished talking, ice started forming around his wound. He looked confused, then let out a grunt. The ice spread fast, covering his whole arm. "What?" he said, eyes wide. In seconds, his arm was completely frozen. Chubby and Hing Yi just stared, shocked. The other students were stunned too. Then Xiaoyu casually snapped his fingers. The frozen hand turned to stone, then shattered into pieces. Fu Hongming winced hard. Everyone just gawked. "His arm's gone," someone whispered. "Is Xiaoyu a 3-star warrior?" Finally, Fu shouted in pain. "You little punks," he growled. Chubby looked at Xiaoyu and said, "Quick, shoot another arrow." Xiaoyu replied, "Nah, I can only shoot 1 per day." Chubby sighed. "Bruh." Then Fu roared and charged, yelling, "I'm a 3-star from the 19th battlefield. You think I'll lose to a bunch of rookies? I'll crush you." The students panicked. "His arm's gone, but he's still going. Run!" Just then, someone held up a card and shouted, "Everyone move, I got this." Everyone turned to see who it was. It was Lu Min. "Bro Lu!" Chubby yelled. Lu Ming looked super confident, holding a wild-looking card. Someone gasped, "No way!" and ran off. Then the ground started shaking. A whole herd of bulls appeared, snorting and stomping, charging right at Fu Hongming. He freaked out and backed away. The bulls hit hard, trampling everything in sight, including the statue Fu had been messing with. The statue broke apart, and the card inside flew out and hit the ground. Dust exploded everywhere. Everyone stared into the cloud, waiting to see what happened. Then the dust cleared. All that was left was a single rabbit foot on the ground. Chubby and the others cheered. "He's done. He's actually done. Not moving at all." Nobody even remembered to thank Lu Ming. They all ran over, hyped up. "Dude, a 7-bowl card? This thing is insane. Have you ever seen one before? A 7-level card?" Lu Ming hesitated, then grinned and held up the card. He said, "This is my own version. It's called the Super Bulldozer. Want to buy one? Big discount, 2 for 1 deal. Buy 3, get 2 free. Over 20, 20% off." The crowd lost it. Only Xiaoyu stayed quiet. He bent down and picked up the card Fu had been after. The others kept talking about Lu Ming's card. "This one takes 300 energy to use," someone said. "I don't even have that much." Then Xiaoyu turned around, and no one noticed a girl with pink hair had suddenly appeared. Xiaoyu called out, "Lu Ming," and tossed him the card. But right then, the pink-haired girl kicked Xiaoyu hard. He flew backwards, yelling in pain, while the card sailed through the air. Lu Ming caught it. Everyone stared at him, then looked at the girl. "It's that miner girl." "Wait, what miner girl?" They were pretending to be miners. That big guy was her helper. She took out Xiaoyu with 1 kick. "She's stronger than the big guy for sure." Someone said, "So what? We've got Lu Ming. He's got tons of crazy cards." Lu Ming turned to Shubby. "So, what's this card about?" Shubby replied, "This is the only real treasure in the whole chamber. They dressed up as miners just to get it." Lu Ming looked at the card and went, "Oh," then took a closer look. It seemed normal, nothing fancy on the back. He thought for a second, then his eyes lit up. "I'll handle this one," he said. "You guys take care of the injured. Step back, Chubby." Chubby nodded. "Got it." The rest followed Lu Ming's orders and rushed over to help Sai Yu and Anne. Anne was hurt. The pink-haired girl looked like she was about to charge at Lu Ming, but he raised his hand. Hold up, before you do anything, just know this. Card masters fight real simple. We just spam a ton of powerful cards and hope it works. It's loud, messy, and honestly, kind of expensive. You already saw what my 7 Bulls card can do, and I've got a backpack of that stuff. But look, I'm a businessman. I'd rather not fight if we can avoid it, he said. The girl paused a bit, like she was thinking it over. Lu Ming kept talking. Let's just walk away from this. I'll even give you this rare card. I'll take the injured and my classmates and dip. Sound good? The girl stared at him, then finally walked over. Fine, she said. At least you're not dumb. Lu Ming smiled. Nice. Truth is, I made a whole pack of Minotaur cards just to get my energy up to 300, but I didn't bring any energy recharge cards. So if I use them all now, I'd be out of power real quick. I probably couldn't even beat the students back there. Then he tossed her the card. Here, take it. We'll leave. He added, later. The girl caught the card. Lu Ming turned to his group and yelled, time to go. I'll lead. Everyone looked confused, but Chubby ran after him. Yo, brother Lu, why'd you just give her such a rare card like that? Lu Ming replied, don't talk, just run. The girl stared at the card in her hand. It wasn't the rare card she wanted. She wanted Lu Ming's card. She crushed the card and yelled, Lu Ming, Lu Ming. And that's a wrap for today's video. If you enjoyed the content, hit that like button for more juicy updates, and don't forget to smash that subscribe button for regular updates.